Hey you guys, I wanted to give you three different options for this project. Option number one is pretty messy and you need quite a few materials, but if you want to do it, I would love to see this. You basically need yellow, green, reds, and brown paints. You need 3 sheets of paper, a caterpillar picture. You could use a computer if you want, and you need a palette, a cup for water, and a paintbrush. Option number two is a little less messy, but still a little messy. You need more materials than most people have, but you need tissue paper, caterpillar picture, but you need just brown, red, yellow, and green markers. Option number three is the one that I'll be showing you because I think this would be easiest for families. All you need are 3 sheets of paper and those colored markers. You could use crayons or colored pencils, and you still need that caterpillar picture. You can use the computer if you need to. Now, just like we do for every project, you're going to want to grab a scrap piece of paper and sketch out your idea. Practice drawing the caterpillar, and then what I want you to think about is what kind of food would you draw if you were Eric Carle and you had the very hungry caterpillar chewing through that, and sketch that out. Now, I'm going to choose, like I said, I'm going to choose option three. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by putting the other 2 pieces of paper aside, and I'm going to do one full sheet. And basically what I'm going to do is green for one full sheet because that's the color we use most. And basically I just have 3 different colored green markers. Like I said, you could use crayon or colored pencil. And you can see that I'm just doing different designs. I am not just scribbling. I'm doing circles and I'm doing wavy lines and straight lines and spiral lines, but I filled that entire piece of paper. You can see that there's very little white space left. Then with the next sheet, I'm going to do the exact same thing with except different colored reds. And again, coming in and just filling in as much of that white space as I possibly can. It's not scribbling. It's trying to find different patterns and interesting ways. Lulu break! It's an attack dog! Grrr! Oh, Lulu. Anyway, you're going to fill about 1/4 of this paper with yellows, doing different patterns, again, different colors of yellow, trying to fill that entire space. And then the last fourth you're going to do with browns and tans. You're going to be using that for the legs. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and start creating my caterpillar. And all I did was draw a bunch of circles, make sure that they're pretty good size. Some of them I flattened out, more oval shape. But you're going to go ahead and draw those on. I like Sharpie so you can see it really well against that pattern. And then go ahead and cut those out. It's going to take a little bit of time, but make sure you take your time to make sure it looks amazing. And then you're going to go ahead and draw the head. And I ovaled mine a little bit, and you're going to put that right there. Then I did the outside of the eyes with yellow, and then the insides of the eyes with green, because that's what Eric Carle used. You can do whatever you'd like, but that's what I used. And then I drew a little bitty nose, almost a triangle, but like a rounded off triangle. And then I drew some feet, and the feet are hard to cut out because they're so small. Basically like little mini triangle shapes. I rounded a little bit and put a little more weight on the bottom. Then I'm going to arrange them out just to make sure it looks good before I glue it down to my paper. Now, I forgot about the antennas, so I grabbed some blues and purples and made 2 antennas, cut those out.
How much is that dog in the window? The one with the waggly tail.
I'm so sorry, you guys. Lulu keeps interrupting us like that. How rude. Anyway, you're going to go ahead and get your 3rd piece of paper and start gluing those circles down. You notice how I started in the center and then I'm working my way backwards and then forwards. I glued on the head and then I glued on the feet. Sometimes those little feet stick to your fingers. Then glue on your eyes, nose, and antenna, and you got it! But wait, you're not done. Now what you're going to do is think about the food that you're going to create. You already sketched an example of it when you were in your sketchbook planning your project. I personally did pizza. So what I started with was the cheese, and you see how I drew it kind of drippy. It made it hard to cut out, let me tell you, but I think it'll look good with all that cheese melting down. So I made sure that I put it on top of my space to make sure it was the right size. Then I'm putting it on top of the red for the sauce, kind of tracing around it, but I'm leaving it a little bit bigger so that the sauce hangs out a little bit. Not as drippy, of course, and you can see the sauce a little bit. And then I take both of those and I put them on the brown, what's going to be the crust, and then I traced around it, cut that out. I'm going to glue all three of those things together so it looks like my big slice of pizza. And then what I'm going to do after I glue all these things together is I have a hole punch. I'm just going to punch a hole in it so it fits the theme of what Eric Carle did in his book. If you don't have a hole punch, don't worry about it. You could just draw a black circle because, as you can see, actually after I glue it down, I couldn't see it very well, so I just took a black Sharpie and I drew in the hole a little bit anyway. And then I couldn't see the eyes well enough, so I went around the eyes. And then I added all the fun part. This is the fun part where you get to do the details. So I took a red marker and a yellow marker, and I think I use a blue one here. And basically all I did was those tiny little hairs. Those little details are the things that make it really special. I cannot wait to see your caterpillars, you guys. Post them. Make sure that I can see those. See you guys.